All right then, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily cryptocurrency market update. And as always, if you are new around here and finding yourself on this video for the first time today, don't forget to check out that subscribe button because we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the crypto space, but also the broader markets. And that is exactly what we are going to be doing in this video. We'll be leaving the broader market stuff towards the end of the video. We have a really interesting clip of Larry Fink at the G7 summit talking about how we need to have an overhaul of the entire financial infrastructure. And my bet is that both AI and crypto blockchain distributed ledgers are going to play a vital role in that. I know the price action that we're seeing, certainly for the altcoin market, can be hard to deal with. But remember, volatility is inherent to this market. And we'll take a zoomed out look at where the altcoin market currently is and reinforcing that actually we still do believe there's some really explosive price movement ahead of us, and that positioning now, as we've been doing since the 5th of January 2023, if you look at that, that was pretty much the exact low for the cryptocurrency market. All of that is public. Positioning into this, accumulating crypto into this, is what's going to see you benefit from what's to come. So we'll be reinforcing all that during this video. We're going to be starting things off, though, however, with, of course, what Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst is saying in regards to an Ethereum ETF. Now, we knew, and we'll talk about how we knew an Ethereum ETF was coming, based technically on ETH dominance, and ETH BTC very much saying the exact same thing. And we'll also pivot into, why not, BTC dominance. Because a lot of people are talking about, oh, there's not going to be an alt season, blah, blah, blah. There will be. Now, whether it's in the exact same manner as the ones we've seen previously, when we look at the others' dominance, we're one of the few people that have done analysis on that. There is a few worrying signs in that, and I think actually larger cap cryptos, I think small cap cryptos are going to benefit, but larger cap cryptos might do better than expected in this cycle due to institutional money via ETF vehicles. To go back to what we were going to cover, we'll be looking at a number of things towards the end of the video. Let's talk about Eric Balanchunas. Great guy to follow. Somebody that's been fundamental in what we do here at Allincrypto in regards to following along with the ETFs and keeping up with the news flows. He's been the guy to follow, basically, along with Jeff Seyfarth, I believe. I'm probably butchering Jeff Seyfarth's name there. But update. We are moving our over-under date for the launch of a spot Ethereum ETF to July the 2nd. It is currently June the 15th. So that is in what? Quick math, 17 days. Hearing the staff sent issuers comments on the S1s today, and they're pretty light, nothing major, asking for them back in a week. Decent chance they work to declare them effective the next week and get off their plate before holiday weekend. Anything's possible, but this is our best guess as of now. And of course, Twitter is going crazy. He refers to a quote from, or a tweet from the 13th of June. Let's take a look at that. It says, makes sense what I hear. Issuer still waiting to get comment from the Corp Fin S1s, which they've now had. They handed in 2 weeks ago. And then he adds to this at the bottom. He says, no, our previous over-under was July the 4th. So they've moved it forward by 2 days. So this isn't major shift, but one, we started to feel it would take longer. So this is kind of good news. And two, we basically decided the over-under on where are the most torn 50-50 on where to bet. And July the 2nd is the best guess right now. So this is huge. We'll look at ETH BTC, ETH dominance, and of course Bitcoin dominance in just a second. It's coming. You know, the motions have already been set for this to take place. And actually, we looked at a clip of Gary Gensler before Congress talking about by the end of summer, you'll have an Ethereum ETF. It's now looking to be sooner than that. I know there was a lot of debate in the comment section about when summer exactly ends. I don't care. It's interesting that this is, it's happening, guys. And you're going to see, I think, some real demand for Ethereum. When we also look at CoinShares' institutional ETPs or products, crypto products, they've seen 5 weeks now of inflows continuously. Meanwhile, what's retail been doing? What's the sentiment out there? It's crap. This is how markets work. They don't want you, the little guys, and you're still a little guy, even if you're in the millions, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking, these big players are billion to trillion dollar players, you know, certainly in the form of institutions on the trillion side. But they don't want you guys getting rich off this market. And this is how markets work. The sentiment, the news is always going to provide opportunities for them and take money from... Markets basically reward the patient and take from the impatient. They take from the dumb and give to the smart. And this is why you need to have a technical assessment of the markets like what we do here. Yes, I know it's hard sometimes to sort of huddle through the kind of volatility that you see in the crypto space. But if you're on the right side of the trend, if you buy for a bull market and get out for a bear market, which is what Charles Dow did, what Stan Weinstein did in their methods, what Wyckoff did, people only remember Wyckoff accumulate and distribute. There's a whole middle and end to that in the sense that accumulate is followed by an uptrend, distribute is followed by a downtrend. I believe we've gone through that accumulation, and we'll show you that in just a second. We've now got the uptrend to come. Hang in there. Do whatever it is you feel you want to do. But people capitulating at this point, I don't know what to say. Where are you getting that from? Your emotions, your feelings? Maybe you just have a feeling, and maybe it's right. We don't know quite yet how everything's going to play out. But our bet is that crypto is about to see some real bright days. It aligns with everything that we've looked at. We often like to talk about walking, talking, and quacking like a duck. We think we've got a duck on our hands here when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. So we knew an Ethereum ETF was coming based on this chart here that we've done a lot of technical work on, that is going to see Ethereum gain ground in regards to dominance of the overall cryptocurrency market. It's the percentage that it makes up in regards to market cap of the cryptocurrency market. This is going on, it's going to nearly double. I think you're going to see that in a short succession of time. And of course, that means it's going to be gaining and taking from Bitcoin. This is ETH BTC also setting up in a broad continuation pattern. People are talking about we won't have an altcoin season, or we won't have alt season. This is the same rhetoric every single time. And let me tell you, it's close. And I actually think, and I've used this kind of stupid analogy, that the waking up of meme stocks could signal that it's near. And why do I say that? Well, let's put on Doge and GameStop, which, by the way, Doge is a better one. So Doge is in a nice Bitcoin orange just to confuse the hell out of everyone. So when these started to move initially, certainly GameStop, this is when Bitcoin dominance rolled. Because when you start to see bids for things like meme stocks and things like that, it signals that the broader environment is accommodating across the board. This is the same sort of reason why Stan Druckenmiller moved from Nvidia, a $2.67 trillion stock, Big Mag 7 stock, safer play, down to the Russell 2000. We've just got to get there, guys. We've got to get over that hump. And I think all this is a hump in what is a broader uptrend. To talk about the broader uptrend that I now believe we're in. So I do think Bitcoin dominance will roll. I think this is looking rather toppy. But we will see. There's a lot of macro uncertainty that we've covered in other videos. Let's pull up a Bitcoin chart, and not one that I don't know what we were doing there. This is still very much an uptrending chart that is trying to resolve itself. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. We were absolutely expecting a period of congestion here. Not just based on the fact that you're at all-time high levels, but also based on the fact that this is what you do after every halvening. This is what you do typically in these months of the year. We will resolve, I think, to the upside out of this, whether it takes a little bit longer to square up, whether this pattern plays out, we will see. You know, we're being affected by a lot in regards to the macro markets. And what I want to do now is, of course, come over to Total 2, which is our favorite chart before we dive into a clip of Larry Fink, just to end the video off. You can see we believe this is going to $3.8 trillion. And people will say, oh, well, you know, this kind of technical analysis doesn't work. Well, it did for pretty much every single stock that we looked at last year. And actually, many cryptocurrencies made their short-term targets for us. Certainly, Bitcoin did. Not just Bitcoin against the US dollar, Bitcoin against a lot of other things. Altcoins will have their day in the sun. It's a matter of time. I think Gary Gensler's there to stall the industry. Not destroy it. If they were going to kill crypto by now, if their intention was to kill this industry, they'd have done it already. You kill a monster when it's small. You don't let it grow big, and then you've got a real fight on your hands. Hang in there, guys. That's really the topic of this video, I guess. But if you look at, let's take a look at this. This is the period, certainly myself and those of you that have been following me on the channel, I know some of you are new to the channel, we've been accumulating cryptos from here on out. We were out for this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Our method is very simple. From an investment point of view, we want to be in for a bull market, out for a bear market. We don't try and overcomplicate things. We don't try and leverage trade crypto, or I don't teach that. I do a little bit of that on the side, of course. But generally, we want people to benefit from when the market's going to do well and get out for when they're not going to do well. And that is what I think we've done a great job of. I'm still up on my portfolio. We have altcoins that are hundreds of percents up still. You know, we're not trying to time every peak and trough. What we're trying to do is accumulate down in this range to benefit from this. And I think we're in a similar sort of situation today, ladies and gents. Let's now dive over to this clip from Larry Fink, probably one of the world's most influential financial figures. Let's dive into this clip of him talking at the G7, talking about jet to GDP, and talking about how this is why building new infrastructure is critical, especially through public-private relations. Then we'll wrap the video up.
The IMF and the World Bank were created 80 years ago when banks, not markets, financed most things. Today, the financial world is flipped. The capital markets are the biggest source of private sector financing, and unlocking that money requires a different approach than the bank balance sheet model of yesterday. There's still a lot of work to be done, but reform over the past 8 months have resulted in billions of new dollars for the developing countries' infrastructure. That's what you saw last week with the announcement of the Investor Coalition. BlackRock, GIP, KKR, and other major firms will deploy $25 billion in Asia's emerging economies. In a way, it's an Indo-Pacific counterpoint to Italy's Mattei plan, which is helping African economies grow, and that's important. Every country in the world needs a growth strategy. But if I could convey one more important message today, it would be the countries that need growth most right now are not just emerging economies. Great economic powers, including the G7, are in fact on the list and need growth going forward. All of us are staring down a growth dilemma. Whether we solve it or not, it's a significant economic fork in the road for our countries. Today, the G7 average debt to GDP is 129%. No matter how much we tax, how much we cut or reduce that debt, it will not be enough. The only way we can achieve this future of growth is by truly growing out of it. But just growth is becoming more important because we need to be focusing on our fiscal health. It is also becoming much more difficult to achieve. Within 25 years, most of the G7 countries will be on demographic downslope. Working age population will decline. The ceiling on growth will get lower and lower. This is why building new infrastructure is critical, especially through public-private partnerships. Infrastructure investments is a counterforce to the high-debt, low-growth economies.
People have got no idea what's coming. The entire overhaul of the financial system, the banking system and the financial world as we know it has been built on old rails, and crypto is going to build and be the new rails that it's all ran on. I think there is a lot of nefariousness in regards to I don't think that crypto, I think in some aspects, come on, ALLIN, get your words out. It is going to change a lot and provide more of a voice for individuals and more inclusivity in regards to the financial world. But I think this idea of a one world global system blockchain very much fulfills. And I just have to say it as it is, guys. You know, I love this industry. I'm here for Satoshi's vision. I'm a libertarian. And what my basic principles are is you should be able to do what you want as long as you don't harm anyone in doing so or infringe on anybody else's right to do that. And that's the principles that I live by. You know, anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but that was an important clip. You know, he's talking about what's coming in regards to demographic and the aging demographic. How do you solve that problem? Well, with the likes of AI, because you're not going to need such a workforce. Just like when we saw machinery in the agricultural revolution, so on and so forth. Crypto is needed. Blockchain and distributed ledger is needed for AI, by the way, guys. It's needed for it. Otherwise, you end up with this uncontrollable monster that you don't know where anything came from. Anyway, that is it from me, guys. I want you all to have a smashing Saturday. I want you all to understand the bigger picture, understand where this market and industry is going, and try and enjoy the ride. We all are so happy when the price is going up. My subscriber count goes through the roof, so on and so forth. Whenever there's a pullback, people kind of, they lose sight of what's happening. And we don't want anybody to do that. Ye of little faith. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Be there or be square. And I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next one.